young people, it's great that you've tuned in to watch this today. You know, I've got something with me today. Can you see that? You might not be able to see it too clearly, but in that jug, I've got some sand. I know it's a bit of a funny colour sand. You don't usually get pink sand, but it is sand, and nonetheless, just usual dry sand. And look, when I pour it from one to the other jug, you can see that it's just sand. Now, it is officially, more or less, going into summertime now. And the great thing about summer is that we get to go to the beach. We can build sand castles, we can play in the sea, and we can feel the sand under our feet. And have you noticed that when the sun has been on the sand and the tide has gone out, then the sun dries out the sand. And so you end up with this dry sand, a bit like the dry sand that you can see here pouring from one jug to the other. And the one thing that sand doesn't like, the one thing that sand doesn't need and can't cope with is water, right? Because actually when the tide comes back over the sand, and then instead of it being that nice loose sand that falls through your fingers, instead it becomes this stodgy clump of sort of mud almost. And then of course you can build with it, you can do different things with it because it's completely changed. The water has gone upon it and it's become like mud. So the one thing that sand doesn't want, dry sand doesn't want, is water, right? Because it turns it into like mud. So here's my sand, my dry sand, and here I've got some water. Let's see what happens as I pour water onto this sand. I'm just going to pour it on like that and cover it all the way over. So now my sand is completely covered in the water. Can you see the water moving about in the jug there, mixing in with the sand? And so what we've got here is a jug full of muddy, wet sand. Yes, soaking wet sand. It's covered in water, isn't it? Well, let me show you something. And now, I'm just going to use a sieve, and the water is going to go through the sieve and into the bowl, and hopefully we'll keep most of the sand either in the sieve or in the jug. So we're just going to pour out the water. We're going to get rid of as much of the water as we possibly can. Just bear with me a moment while I'm doing that. Can you see all of the water now? All of the water slowly, slowly coming out. There we are, getting rid of all of that water. So all the water now has gone. So in this jug, all that I'm now left with is a clump of muddy sand. Yeah? As I pour it into here, it should just sort of go with a great big plop as it falls out in one go. Yes, because it's wet sand now, isn't it? Watch this. Watch this sand as I pour it out. Look, can you see? Can you see what's happening? It's dry sand. Now how can that be? It was dry sand, completely covered with water. The water's been taken off and we've been left with dry sand. That doesn't make any sense. Well, I tell you what, if you now stop this and go back to your notes, you'll be able to see how this amazing special sand that wasn't affected by the water fits in with our story of Daniel. Enjoy. See you next time.